by the time we got to the basement door, it sounded like a train was coming through. We actually had pictures blowing off of our walls. The wind was so bad, the rain, and it just was a train.
This morning, the Miami Valley cleaning up after severe weather strikes. We have live team coverage this morning. Mamie Ball is in Champaign County showing us the damage.
But first, let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak. Nick, you were live on air tracking tornado warnings. When will the National Weather Service be out today?
Well, I still think they're coming up with a plan as we speak, and that's important to note that at this point they haven't commented whether or not they're going to send a survey team to any of our locations for potential tornadoes. Again, the second we know for sure where they're going, we will let you know. Now, let's go back to last night. So this is the radar loop between about 6:45 and 7:30. The first area I want to show you is right along the Vandalia area, so that's right near the airport over into the southern part of Miami County, right around Tip City area. That is where, if you look, you do see a brief hook shape. This is also about when we start to see some of the reflectivity. That's the greens and the pinks that are really bright. That's a sign that winds became quite strong in that area. Now, since that point, we have quieted down, which is certainly some good news because, well, quieter weather means that at least we won't have to contend with heavy duty weather while any potential cleanup does happen. And again, today, a much more quiet day than yesterday. We're going to go ahead and continue our live team coverage this morning in Champaign County. Mamie Ba joins us live. Mamie, what are you seeing outside?
Nick, I am in Christiansburg, and I can tell you have a lot of down trees. Take a look at this one specifically behind me. Just take a look at how it snapped off completely from the roof, falling on top of the front porch of this home. You can just see where it lays. It's where it lays that part of the tree, but this is really a massive tree here that you have snapped off. It looks like this is an abandoned home, but this is just what is going on here. But it is a lot here with this tree and just how massive it is and how it's completely pulled off from the root. You can even see, you can't even, none of its roots are even attached anymore at this point. Just take a look at how massive this is. But this is just a huge tree, as I mentioned, and this is the biggest one so far in the area that I have seen. We are on East Lincoln Street between 2nd Street and 4th Street, and this road is closed off at this time, and it's because of how massive this tree is. And again, this tree completely snapping off from the root, and falling on top of this home. Again, it looks like it is an abandoned home. This road is closed off. Again, this is East Lincoln Street between 2nd Street and 4th Street here in Champaign County and Christiansburg, and we're going to continue to assess the damage here. Back to you.
All right, take a look at this video out of Trotwood. You could see a tree falling onto the front porch of a woman's home, just missing her car. Now, this is just North Hampton Road. Luckily, no damage was done inside of that home.
Now to Harrison Township on Philadelphia Drive. Officials blocked off the road after a tree branch came down on the power line. Luckily, no injuries are reported.
The National Weather Service retweeting this post last night of a possible tornado. You could see it here, spotted near the Dayton International Airport. Claire Faith talked to one business owner working near the airport when it happened.
We're here on West National Road in Vandalia, nearby the Dayton International Airport, and you can see in this video, this is video that has been trending across social media. Now, I spoke with one business owner who said he witnessed this storm for himself. He said it was just behind nearby the Dayton International Airport, and him and his wife told me that the sky became darker and darker and the rain began to pour in. He shares the moment it all happened.
Watching out the window, and it started getting darker and darker, and then the rain started, and it just kept getting more and more intense, and finally it just downpoured, and I couldn't see the airport from.
He said he's happy that him, his wife, and his business is fine. He said the storm moved pretty quickly, and he's happy that everyone is just okay. Reporting in Vandalia, Clara Faith, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
We will continue to bring you weather updates all morning long on air, online, and on our app. To get push alerts sent directly to your phone, download the Dayton 24/7 Now app in Google Play and Apple App Stores.
My biggest concern about all this is people are getting too relaxed about it. Oh, another bomb scare, and nobody thinks it's going to happen. And of course, I hope to God it never does. But I think that's where one of my biggest fears is everybody's becoming so laxed about it.
Another bomb threat at a Kroger. That's the 6th time across 6 stores in just 2 days. Someone called in a threat yesterday at the North College Hill Kroger near Cincinnati. The other 5 threatened stores are also in the Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. All of them had to be evacuated and searched. FBI and local law enforcement are investigating. Police say they can and will find the person responsible. They say that person could face charges related to inciting panic and terrorist activity. Federal charges are on the table since the threats cross state lines.
Today, Governor Mike DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted holding a news conference in Columbus. They're discussing mental health priorities for the state, including the newly proposed Social Media Parental Notification Act right here behind me. It would require companies like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to get parental consent before children under 16 can use their platforms. If passed by the Ohio General Assembly and signed into law by Governor DeWine, companies would have 90 days to comply.
The Dayton Dragons hitting the road. They start at a 6-game series in Fort Wayne tomorrow night, but Day Air Ballpark will be busy Wednesday for the Logan Wilson Celebrity softball game. The Cincinnati Bengals linebacker getting a big addition on Sunday. Former wide receiver Chad Ochocinco Johnson posting to social media that he'll be in Dayton on Wednesday. Here are some of the other notables. Head coach Zach Taylor, defensive lineman Sam Hubbard, and other Bengals standouts. There will be a home run derby in the 6 o'clock hour before the actual game at 7:30. To learn more about the game and for tickets, you can visit DaytonDragons.com.
Ochocinco, gotta love it.
My husband has a picture with him from when he worked at the Bengals. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
They gotta get Joey B out there.
True that.
Our time right now, 5:07. Don't forget, you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
Add your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
More challenges at the border just ahead. Christine Frizzell looks at the top officials stepping down and how some states are trying to address the issue.
You're watching Your Day.
This week, the House Homeland Security Committee will hold a hearing on the southern border. The Biden administration facing a new set of challenges.
And officials in some states implementing their own strategies for how to take on the issues, as national correspondent Christine Frizzell reports.
In Texas, a new approach to border security. Governor Greg Abbott revealing a planned floating marine barrier, a line of buoys in the Rio Grande River to deter crossings.
What these buoys will allow us to do is to prevent people from even getting to the border.
It's one of several new strategies governors have been trying, including sending migrants by bus and plane to other parts of the country, like New York City, Washington, D.C., and California. The most recent efforts now under investigation.
We've learned that many of them were told that virtual systems would help them find jobs if they got on the plane and traveled to where they were being taken. We learned that many of them didn't know where they were being taken.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., running for president against Joe Biden, making a trip to the border.
This is a humanitarian crisis because of the understanding across the globe that we now have an open border here.
President Biden working to undo that notion, but facing mounting challenges of his own. Within a matter of days, departure announcements for 2 of his top border officials. Acting Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement Tay Johnson and Border Chief Raul Ortiz. set to retire. One former top border official with this reaction.
It's got to be after 3 decades. It's got to be that, look, we just can't do this anymore. We're not able to do our job that we signed on to do to protect this nation. So it's not surprising we're seeing this turnover.
President Biden has tapped Jason Owens to replace Ortiz. He currently serves as border chief in the Del Rio, Texas sector, and sat down with us earlier this year for an interview.
The immigration system that's in place right now was built for a different time. The volume of people that we see and where they're coming from is completely different than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago.
He'll soon oversee challenges like that and so many others for the entire country. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
Good morning. Off to a cooler start in most spots, with the exception of the southwestern part of our area. Middletown is actually not just a little bit warmer, but actually significantly warmer. That may be just a local anomaly, but it is noteworthy that, okay, we do have at least one warmer spot. Meanwhile, temperatures mid to upper 50s. Notice that northwest flow. So effectively, I do think it's going to be a cooler day overall as colder air continues to arrive. We'll also be starting out the morning cloudy. Note by the time we get towards the evening, we should get at least at bare minimum some sunshine. Optimistically, we may get more sun than clouds. That'll provide a window for us to perhaps shoot up to the upper 60s, if not 70, although I think we'll fall short in most spots to 70. Meanwhile, for tomorrow, temperatures start out in the 50s. We'll have periods of showers throughout the area for Tuesday and into Tuesday evening. These will continue into times at Wednesday, although by Wednesday's second half of the day, we should be significantly drier and probably starting to also clear out. So that is the optimist in me. Unfortunately, our weather system decided to double click here, but the other thing of note is the weekend is also going to be a little bit on the, let's just say, wetter side. All right, let's go to traffic. Right for now, it is a quieter morning commute. Only one incident, that at Riverside Drive at East Hillcrest Avenue. And yeah, yesterday, very...
Sorry.
She was
I
still...
have my jacket.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. No, I mean, it's not cold. Well, then again, I'm running on fumes over here, so I can't. My body is just literally like, what is going on right now? But yesterday, very busy one. We're still tracking whether or not the National Weather Service send out crews, and you know, today, tomorrow, it's going to be in the 60s. So quite a change from where we have been.
I think once it really heats up, a lot of people forget that, you know, it can still be severe weather season.
We're still Ohio, and
Yeah.
we still can have bipolar weather.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We were 3 weeks ago talking about no rain, no rain, no rain, and now we're talking about a week where just about every day outside of 2 or 3, at least there's some chance of rain. So just completely a script flip.
You know, as you say, Nick, we got a deluge. Is that the proper usage?
I don't know. Ask Tage when he gets in.
I don't know, man. You love that word.
Hey,
so.
man, I love a lot of big fancy words sometimes at 4 o'clock in the morning.
You're a big fancy guy.
Yeah.
Our time right now, 5:16. Still to come, a dynamic duo taking on national parks. Just ahead, the grandma and grandson setting records and posting it on the gram.
You're watching Your Day.
Here on your day, we celebrate your pets every single day, and today we have Margot. And Steph sent in Margot, and look at this pretty dog. I just love the ears, the pointed nature. I'm not sure if that's what that is, but man, this dog is beautiful and probably enjoying the outdoors up until we start to see the rain yesterday. Now, we do have green paws, but I'm going to say this way. If your dog is going to be outside today, it's yellow paws, brown paws as you get them inside, because frankly it was very wet yesterday, and I don't think that water is going to go anywhere in just a couple of hours of sunshine, especially with temperatures in the upper 60s. It is going to be significantly cooler, which means it takes a lot longer for this water to evaporate across the area. So for Margot and the other dogs, and also, let's be fair, the other cats as well, it's going to be a wet one to get outside in the backyard to patrol the neighborhood, or maybe to go take a walk just around the block. Meanwhile, on the roads this morning, if you're just going on the interstate or around the block, again, wet roads this morning, so a little bit more difficult than you usually suspect here on a Monday morning. We do have one incident, Riverside Drive at East Hillcrest, but other than that, it is quiet. We do also have that construction up down 75.
A panel of FDA advisors today will discuss Biogen and Eisai's application for full approval of the Alzheimer's drug it created together. The application for full approval is based on data showing Leqembi slowed the rate of cognitive decline in patients with early Alzheimer's by 27% compared to a placebo. Well, Walmart has trained pharmacists on specialty HIV treatments in communities that are highly affected by the virus, and it plans to expand the program to nearly a dozen states this year. The HIV specialty pharmacies work with local clinics and community groups to try to engage patients on testing and gaining access to treatments. And taurine slows aging in mice, but will it work for people? Taurine is an amino acid. It's made naturally by the body. It can be found in meat as well as energy drinks. Now, a lot more study is needed, though, because it's not known whether extra taurine slows aging or if it's even good for people. From the NASDAQ market site, I'm Jane King. Here's your health.
Bears have different personalities. Some of them are very nice and some aren't very nice, just like people.
When we were in Colorado, we hiked across the Great Sand Dunes. And when we got to the top, that was when Grandma Joy decided that she wanted to roll down the sand dune.
She sounds like so much fun. A grandmother and her grandson now finally completing their epic 7.5-year journey. They stopped by American Samoa this week, reaching their goal of visiting all 63 national parks. Brad Ryan documented their travel on Instagram. He says his 93-year-old Grandma Joy made history as the oldest living person to visit every U.S. national park. Officials at National Park of America Samoa say they are grateful to be part of this pair's amazing story. The Park Service honored them with certificates and other gifts. It all started after Grandma Joy told her grandson she regretted how few trips she had taken in her life. So Ryan decided to change that. And that just goes to show you it's important just to get out and do stuff now.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to be her when I grow up.
I love that. The one thing she wanted to do is roll down the sand hill, and they had video of that.
Yeah, and by the way, the national parks across the country are fantastic. It's probably, I was reading online, when people come to our country, that's the first thing they go is, you have some amazing national parks. So if you can, get outside and enjoy them. I mean, there's some that are in far-flung areas. There was one in North Dakota where there was nothing out there at all, but absolutely gorgeous. Loved it.
Yeah, and in terms of national parks, we don't really have many in Ohio. But here in the Miami Valley, you can go check out the Wright Brothers locations. Those are run by the National Park Service. That's about the closest we got here. You might have to travel.
Don't forget state parks. Right. You got the parks up in Yellowstone that are absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. You have the metro parks around the area. So go out and check those out. Get out there,
Bottom line, go explore. Our time right now, 5:24, still to come.
The calm after the storm coming up. I'm in Christiansburg with a look at the damage.
Coming together for a great cause, the Battle of the Businesses wrapping up for 2023. And it's how much they raised for Special Olympics.
In today's Tech Bites, a financial spat between Twitter and Google. According to Platformer News, the social media company refuses to pay its Google Cloud bill. The $1 billion contract is up for renewal this month. The dispute may lead to some Twitter safety services going offline. Microsoft is bringing Bing Voice Mode to its Edge browser on desktops. Users just select the microphone button on Bing's chat box and ask questions out loud. And yes, Bing has its own voice to respond. 5 languages, including English, can be used, but Microsoft says others are on the way. And finally, also from Microsoft, a new black version of the Xbox Series S game console. It has increased storage capacity of 1 terabyte. Pre-orders are being taken right now. It'll be launched on September 1st for just about $350. A new color there. Xbox has really turned it around since the 360. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Your house is lovely.
Thank you. I need to introduce you to someone. He was telling me how Geico makes it easy to save on homeowners insurance, so I was thinking...
Will.
Hello, old friend.
So you have met?
Years ago, we both had big dreams about saving people money on their homeowners insurance.
Yeah, just look at us now.
Your house is lovely.
Yeah, I just said that.
Okay, nobody heard you.
Okay.
I did hear you.
Geico makes it easy to save on homeowners insurance.
Do you struggle with occasional nerve aches in your hands or feet? Try Nervive Nerve Relief from the world's #1 nerve care company. Nervive contains ALA to relieve nerve aches and B-complex vitamins to fortify healthy nerves. Try Nervive and try Nervive Pain Relieving Roll-On.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Non-drowsy Claritin knocks out symptoms from over 200 allergens without knocking you out. Feel the clarity and make today the most wonderful time of the year. Live
This morning, the National Weather Service will be out surveying damage after storms and possibly a tornado hit the Miami Valley.
Their offices in Wilmington tweeting out this photo of a funnel cloud near the Dayton International Airport. This happened in Tip City and Vandalia near the county line. Now, the system also impacting Champaign County. They experienced some damage, and now crews will be out trying to clean up from yesterday's storms. That's where we find Mamie Ball. She's live in Christiansburg this morning.
And Mamie, what are you seeing out there?
Well, right now we've moved over to the other side. We are on North Monroe Street right now at this time. Take a look here. You have a lot of down tree branches. So just take a look at so many of these tree branches, and many of them coming from the tree on the other side of the street that you see here. A lot of its branches snapped off, and you can see you have some on this person's front porch as well, and then you have some on the other side of the street. So a lot of the damage here, not damage, excuse me, but a lot of the damage here, I mean, I guess you could say that, but a lot of it's coming from this tree and how it's fallen. It's just all over the place here. So again, this is what we have in this part. But earlier we showed you that home where the tree had completely snapped off from the root. That's where you have damage. So in this area, you don't really have any damage. You just have down trees at this time. We haven't seen any down power lines here in Christiansburg at this time. Again, we've been driving around, looking at different places, but a lot of it is just downed trees and down trees, again, tree branches at this time. So again, this is North Monroe Street in Christiansburg, and this is what we have in this side, on this part of the street. Now, this part of the street is not closed off like the other side of the street that we showed you much earlier, but earlier today we spoke to people about the damage in the area.
And then once we came back up, we've got damage, tree damage to our garage. We have a massive tree on our garage, some damage on top of the house, and then like my daughter's playhouse is typically the back of our house, and it's all the way at the front of our house up against the fence.
Again, we are on North Monroe Street where you have a lot of these down trees in Christiansburg at this time. Again, so that's just different from other parts where you do have some of those trees that have fallen on top of people's homes, their garages, missing their cars by just a little bit. So definitely a lot going on here. Right now, things are very quiet, of course, as you would imagine, because it's very, very early in the morning. So things are very much so quiet. But I can tell you, as soon as people get a chance and get up, they will be cleaning a lot of this up. So back to you.
Thanks, Mamie. And yesterday, it was the first tornado warning was for this Vandalia, Miami County area. So right along that border is where, so we did get a couple of videos. And this is actually where we had a really strong rotation signature for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, just about around 7:15 to 7:30. Now, meanwhile, where Mamie is Christiansburg. Now, I'm going to point this out. Because of the way the radar works in Wilmington, we didn't get a great view of any type of rotation in that area, but based on the radar that is on the north side of Dayton, that's actually at the airport, there was at least some rotation there. Unfortunately, we can't get access to that via our weather system. So for right now, it does look like, okay, there may be 1 or 2 spots where at least there was the potential for a spin up across the area. Again, still waiting on the National Weather Service to get back to us on if and when they're going to send any type of survey teams out. A reminder, we'll have that information and the update on Your Day Dayton, whether it's on our Instagram, Facebook, or our Twitter. Of course, yesterday or Friday, we had the Your Day Extra podcast, so go ahead and check that out. I got to hang out and chat with these two, which means an extra half hour of shenanigans. Meanwhile, on the roads, no shenanigans thus far. It is a quiet morning commute.
Former President Donald Trump back on the campaign trail over the weekend, calling the recent indictment a political hit job. He faces several charges and is expected to appear in court in Florida tomorrow.
Meanwhile, reactions from Capitol Hill continue on both sides. Shelley Malashi has the data.
Witch hunt, scam, hoax. It's called election interference, and they're doing the best they can with it.
Over the weekend, former President Donald Trump on the campaign trail making stops in Georgia and North Carolina following his recent federal indictment. While in Greensboro, the former president calling out the Biden administration for what he claimed is an abuse of power.
The baseless indictment of me by the Biden administration's weaponized Department of Injustice will go down as among the most horrific abuses of power in the history of our country. This vicious persecution is a travesty of justice.
Trump faces a total of 37 counts, including 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information and conspiracy with a top aide to allegedly hide documents from the government.
If even half of it is true, then he's toast. It's a very detailed indictment, and it's very, very damning.
This is as devastating and specific of an indictment that I think I've ever seen.
President Trump will have his day in court, but espionage charges are absolutely ridiculous. Whether you like Trump or not, he did not commit espionage.
Former President Donald Trump is expected to travel to Miami on Monday, ahead of his Tuesday court appearance, according to two sources, where he will meet with lawyers and discuss a Florida-based legal team. I'm Shelley Malashi reporting.
Right now, one person is in the hospital and another's in custody after a shooting in Middletown. Police arrived at Howard Avenue near South Sutphin Street, right here on this map, around 2:30 yesterday afternoon. They found a woman shot in the head. Officials rushed her to Atrium Medical Center. Now, while investigating, officers received a tip. The suspect, Richard Atkins, was still in the area. Atkins is now under arrest. He's charged with felonious assault. If you have any information about the shooting, call Middletown Detective Kirby at 513-425-7796.
The Battle of the Businesses is raising thousands of dollars for the Special Olympics of Greater Dayton. Over the past week, over 25 teams competed in 12 co-ed sporting events. That includes events from miniature golf to track sprinting. Saturday wrapped up the week-long fundraiser, earning over $51,000.
Our time right now is 5:35. Don't forget to get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
The young and hungry Reds trying to win another series. Just ahead, Matt Digby has highlights from St. Louis.
You're watching Your Day.
Good morning. I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. Cincinnati Reds prospect Elly De La Cruz made his major league debut last Tuesday against the Dodgers. Cincinnati only won that series. They had a chance to win this weekend series on the road at St. Louis. Reds started on the front foot Saturday, looking for more of the same on Sunday. Top first, Jonathan India sends a deep fly ball to dead center. Tommy Edmonds in pursuit. He looks like he'll have a chance to leap over the wall and catch the ball, but the ball clears the wall for a solo home run. Reds on the board first, 1-0. St. Louis trying to answer. Jordan Walker with a fly ball to left. That drops for a base hit. Cardinals tie the game in the second. They later take the lead 2-1, but this game will be back and forth. Top third, De La Cruz, what a start he's had to his major league career. This fly ball to center, landing, and Kirk Casale will score from second. That ties the game at 2. But then at the bottom of the frame, Nolan Arenado with a deep fly ball down the right field line. Not a home run, but it lands on the warning track and results in a triple. Paul Goldschmidt scoring all the way from first, and the home team is back in front 3-2. However, De La Cruz scores a tying run in the 6th, and then in the 8th inning, Tyler Stevenson with a grounder to short. They go for the play at home, but De La Cruz beats the throw back to the plate. That's the go-ahead run. Reds take the game and the series 4-3 the final on Sunday.
Great series. It's always tough coming in here, and it's a good team we're playing against, so to be able to get 2 out of 3 really hard-fought games. All 3 could have gone different for sure, so we feel we had to play really well to get 2 wins here. That run was all speed. There's no question about it, and it's just a different level of speed to be able to beat that play, that going on contact there on a solid hit ball, really good shortstop with a good arm, and just outran the throw.
And the Dayton Dragons and Cedar Rapids Colonels had a lengthy weather delay to start Sunday, almost 3 hours before the first pitch. Cedar Rapids out to a big lead early, and they would go on to win 16-7. The game would be called in the 9th inning after the weather returned to Day Air Ballpark. Justice Thompson and Luis Chevalier each with home runs, but the Colonels do split the series. Dayton has today off before they go on the road to Fort Wayne this coming week. That'll do it for sports. I'm Matt Digby.
We are looking at the rain clearing out of Ohio itself. Relatively quick mover, and because of that, behind it, it is turning breezy. Still have a couple of storms out across country as you look down in towards Georgia. Also, the panhandle of Texas right now getting inundated with severe weather, and this is not a great time for it. 4 or 5 in the morning, especially as you move out there. Why? Because most people are, frankly, either half asleep, or just waking up. So it does sometimes catch you off guard, especially like yesterday, where it did happen rather rapidly, where we had 1 severe warning, and I think we had ended up with either 2 or 3 tornado warnings in our region. So effectively, it was a quick ramp up, but it was also a relatively quick ramp down. Meanwhile, for today, we're just not going to get warm outside. It's going to stay in the upper 60s. As we get into tonight, we'll drop down into the 50s. So it's going to be a chilly start to the day tomorrow. And frankly, today and tomorrow are going to be about 10 degrees below average. So again, things are looking like they're going to be much cooler next 2 days.
Our time right now is 5:42. Caught on camera, a Philly bridge catching fire and collapsing just ahead, where one driver witnessed on I-95.
You're watching Your Day. Behind us, video from the I-95 bridge in Philadelphia. A section of the bridge collapsed from a fire Sunday morning.
It will be a difficult morning commute, and officials say it will be a while before things are back to normal. John Lawrence reports.
People driving in southeast Pennsylvania will need to have a lot of patience and maybe an extra audio book.
At the moment, like, okay, this is just, a normal bump, a normal little brush fire.
It was anything but a brush fire. On Sunday morning, a tanker truck carrying a petroleum-based product caught fire under the highway on Interstate 95 in Philadelphia, causing part of the bridge to collapse, officials say. Mark Fusetti captured this smoke-filled footage as he drove over the other side of the bridge.
I thought, okay, maybe this is just the construction part. I didn't think for a second that the road under me was collapsing, and that part of the highway will have to be replaced too.
Officials have started putting detours into place.
We're also looking at interim solutions to connect both sides of I-95 to get traffic through the area.
Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney says the fire is under control and in a tweet advised commuters to, quote, plan for alternate routes or modes of travel. Pennsylvania officials say traffic in the area is expected to be affected for months.
The rebuilding of I-95 is going to be a massive project. And until that happens, you are literally going to have millions of people in what is one of the largest population centers in the country impacted in a significant way.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
We are looking at a day where we should be able to get temperatures in the 70s for tomorrow, but it is going to be a long slog to get there. Meanwhile, for today, we're going to start around 60. Frankly, it's just not going to warm up when you consider this time of year. 20, sometimes 30-degree temperature swings do happen on the norm. Wind speeds are anywhere between 10 to 20 miles per hour right now. Effectively, it's going to be a breezy day as well. For today, we will also get some showers starting about, tomorrow, starting about when we wake up. These will continue throughout the daytime. And then for tomorrow and into Wednesday, I think it's just periods of wet weather. Wednesday itself should clear out second half today. Perhaps another shower on Thursday, although we're trending a little bit drier. For the weekend, more rain is possible with temperatures warming up. You put it all together, you go back to, let's say, Saturday, and we're talking about periods of on again, off again rain for a lot of the week and prior weeks. So we went from 3 weeks of dry weather to, well, a week of wet weather. And you start looking at this forecast, you also notice temperatures, at best are going to be right on average. As for traffic this morning, fairly quiet morning commute without any issues thus far on the interstates.
Here's a pet you've probably never heard me discuss on here: fish. Fish can be great starter pets for children, and aquariums can be wonderful additions to your home. Here are some quick tips if you're thinking of adding fish friends to your home. A good rule of thumb is 1 gallon of water per every inch of fish. Next, it's important to have a good quality filter in your tank as well as an aerator. The filter is vital to remove waste like ammonia, and the aerator to make sure that water and oxygen levels remain appropriate. Next, it's important to monitor pH levels of the tank water as well as to treat the tank water prior to adding fish to make sure that chemicals and levels are appropriate for the fish species that you choose. Decorating the tank can be fun, but should focus on providing your fish with plenty of places to hide and explore. Hopefully these are some helpful starter tips, but reach out to your fish supply store or consult a reliable fish care book for further questions.
5:48 is our time right now. Room service police in minutes, a survey turning heads. We look at the top 10 bizarre hotel service requests.
You're watching Your Day.
In this morning's GMA First Look, a nationwide shortage that threatens to derail fun in the sun.
There's not any serious people wanting to become lifeguards. They don't think that it's a job of prestige, and we need to bring that back.
The American Lifeguard Association saying about a third of the nation's public pools are struggling to find lifeguards. The issue started in 2020 during the COVID pandemic when many were forced to work from home and avoid public spaces.
And we used to rely on people coming out, enjoying the job and going back and telling other people about it, and they would come back. We missed a couple of years of that. So, fast forward to today, and there just isn't the interest.
Now, cities across the country are trying to entice possible lifeguards to sign on. And coming up at 7 a.m., what you need to know to keep your loved ones safe in the water. With your GMA First Look, I'm Eva Pilgrim, ABC News, New York.
Bipolar 1, I got help to push back.
I got help to push back.
We got help to push back with Lybalvi.
Once daily prescription Lybalvi is proven to treat manic or mixed episodes of bipolar 1 in adults to help you push back. Elderly patients with dementia have an increased risk of death or stroke. Do not take Lybalvi if you are taking opioids or are in opioid withdrawal. The samidorphan in Lybalvi can cause severe opioid withdrawal that can lead to hospitalization or increased risk of life-threatening overdose. Get emergency help if you have trouble breathing, become very drowsy with slowed or shallow breathing, or feel faint, very dizzy, or confused. Or if you have fever, stiff muscles, confusion, rash, swollen glands, or problems with your liver, kidneys, heart, or lungs. Other serious side effects may include high cholesterol, weight gain, potentially fatal high blood sugar, uncontrolled body movements, which may be permanent, dizziness upon standing or falls.
Are you ready to push back against bipolar 1? Ask your doctor if Lybalvi is right for you.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Well, we've shifted things outside here on the Watson's weather patio, and it's not a bad morning. It's breezy outside. Kind of reminds me of that maybe early-ish fall stage in just a weird way. Probably just the cool, damp air, because right for now we do have all the dampness from the rain yesterday. And over to my left, because of the heavy rain, actually a lot of our mulch has moved on the patio itself. So we may end up having to take the power washer out here. But the good news is we're going to be quiet. Tomorrow, different story. I think it's back to the showers. In the meantime, today, it's going to be cloudy early on. I do think that we will see those skies begin to clear up. And just looking overhead, right for now, it is a thin overcast. So all it's going to take is just maybe a couple hours of sunshine. We'll start poking through this, perhaps as soon as the late morning. But I would say at the probably latest afternoon, evening for some of us, we'll start to see more sun than clouds. But again, right for now, here on the Watson's weather patio, it is a little bit on the breezy side.
Video from the Philippines. This is Volcano Mayon spewing lava. Authorities have evacuated over 12,500 in the Albay province following volcanic unrest. Located in the southeastern part of Luzon Island, the volcano has been spewing sulfuric gas and lava the past day. Authorities prohibited entry into a 3.7 miles radius of this volcano, warning of rockfalls and landslides. The government estimates that 88% of local population have already evacuated and is working to evacuate the rest.
Caught on camera, you ever seen a beach bear? Well, crowds at Destin Beach in Florida surprised by this fur ball spotted splashing through the Gulf of Mexico before running up the Destin shore. Oh boy, look at that though. It was able to get out of the water and luckily no one was hurt. Oh, that's weird.
Room service on another level. A survey has revealed the top 10 most bizarre hotel service requests. Listen to this. Hotels.com's first ever room service report looked at over 470 hotels with in-room dining available in 10 countries, including the U.S. And among the quirkiest hotel questions, bison, boiled bottled water, a fish caught by a traveler who wanted it cooked to order, and a rice bowl for a dog. Other unusual requests include melted ice cream, cockle popcorn, and a no-egg white omelet.
So only yolk? Okay, there are some weird ones in there, and there's some ones that I do get. Bison, if you've ever had it, completely different to like steak. very good. But there was one that I saw. Can we scroll back? Thank you. Let's see. Where is it? Keep going.
Melted ice cream.
That one, especially for people with like teeth. Like fake teeth, sometimes that one helps.
Yeah,
but it's a fish caught by a traveler, especially in parts where it's like you could go on those cruises. People will do that, but it's usually on a beach, not on a hotel.
All right, Nick, do not justify these weirdos.
Yeah,
what weird things have you done? I feel like
No,
if you are defending this, you have done some weird things.
No. I just get I've had bison before. It's delicious.
I will have 100 M&Ms only red.
Okay, there's a story behind that too.
Yeah, that's from Wayne's World too, by the way.
That's actually based off of a tour band's rider, where they asked the person in charge to take out yellow M&Ms, and the reason why is if they took out yellow M&Ms, it meant they read the whole rider and would do it right for when a band went to a town.
Nick's like, I just need my soothing room with my Mets radio turned on.
I need a oil diffuser right next to the bed.
I just need a working fan in a hotel room.
Nick needs a bowl of prunes by the bedside. All right, we got a lot more coming up on your day.
Why is every joke like I'm 100?
A tree falls on top of a home in Champlain County. Coming up after a break, a closer look at the damage.
A space to be creative. An area studio opening another location at 6. When and where to find the new spot for Shag Studios.
You're watching Your Day.
By the time we got to the basement door, it sounded like a train was coming through. We actually had pictures blowing off of our walls. The wind was so bad, the rain, and it just was a train.
This morning, the Miami Valley cleaning up after severe weather strikes. We have live TV coverage this morning. Mamie Ball is in Champaign County showing us the damage.
But first, let's check in with meteorologist Nick Maruziak. Nick, you were live on air tracking the tornado warnings. When will the National Weather Service be assessing this today?
You know, that's what we're actually looking at right now, is whether or not they're going to actually send some teams outside or whether or not they choose to do it. Because technology has gotten so great, now the National Weather Service on occasion has simply set up drones and seen some of the damage. Of course, the emergency managers of each and every county will have a role to play as well. So from about 6:30 to 7:30 was the time period where we saw the greatest threat for storms. This one was probably the most I would dare say textbook, if you will, signature around the old Springfield Road. You'll see that little bit of a hook. That moved in towards Monroe Township, almost directly over parts of Tip City. And there were at least a few handfuls of reports of damage in that area. Where we did see more damage is further to the northeast in Christiansburg. This particular radar did not get a great signature from that, but that's not to say that there wasn't, let's say, some sort of either wind damage or tornado damage. We did actually see it from the Dayton radar, but unfortunately we cannot show that radar on our air. So we're going to send things over to Mamie, who's actually in Champaign County this morning. Mamie, I think that's a tree behind you. How many trees do you see down on that road?
Just so many, but this is the most massive one. Just take a look at how this tree has completely snapped off from the root. This is a massive tree, and just take a look at the roots completely. Just no root. The roots are completely, it's just completely snapped off from the root. And when you take a look at just how big this tree is, just take a look at how it's laid on top of this home, right? Earlier, we showed you how it laid on the front part. Just because of how big the branches are, you can see it going through what could be the top floor of this home, coming down into the top floor, the roof of the home here. And this, I believe this could be an abandoned property. Looks like no one lives here, but just take a look at how massive this tree is. And I was telling you that here in Christiansburg, in Champaign County, this is what we've seen so far. A lot of down trees in certain parts of the road. This one specifically being on top of this home. Not far from here, you have some more down trees, but this time those down trees are in the back of their pickup truck, right? So narrowly just missing their vehicle. So that's really what's going on here. But this tree is very, very massive. I just want to give you a look at it again. It's snapping completely off from the root and falling on top of this home completely. So this is a lot here, a lot going on here. But again, cleanup efforts will be underway in certain parts of the road where you have, down tree branches that are not on top of any properties at this time. But again, this is what we're seeing throughout Christiansburg right now at this time. And again, this part of the road is closed off. Back to you.
Take a look at this video out of Trotwood. You can see a tree falling onto the porch of a woman's home, just missing her car. This is Northampton Road. Luckily, no damage was done inside that home.
Now to Harrison Township on Philadelphia Drive. Officials blocked off the road after a tree branch came down on the power line. Luckily, no injuries are reported.
The National Weather Service retweeting this post last night of a possible tornado. You could see it right here off in the distance there. This was spotted near the Dayton International Airport. Claire Faith talked to one business owner working near the airport when it happened.
We're here on West National Road in Vandalia, nearby the Dayton International Airport. And you can see in this is video that has been trending across social media. Now, I spoke with one business owner who said he witnessed this storm for himself. He said it was just behind nearby the Dayton International Airport, and him and his wife told me that the sky became darker and darker and the rain began to pour in. He shares the moment it all happened.
Watching out the window, and it started getting darker and darker, and then the rain started, and it just kept getting more and more intense, and finally it just downpoured, and I couldn't see the airport from.
He said he's happy that his wife, and his business is fine. He said the storm moved pretty quickly, and he's happy that everyone is just okay. Reporting in Vandalia, Clara Faith, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
And we'll continue to bring you updates all morning long on air and online. And to get our app, you get push alerts sent directly to your phone. Download the Dayton 24/7 Now app in Google Play and Apple app stores.
My biggest concern about all this is people are getting too relaxed about it. Oh, another bomb scare, and nobody thinks it's going to happen. And of course, I hope to God it never does. But I think that's where one of my biggest fears is everybody's becoming so laxed about it.
Another bomb threat at a Kroger. That's the 6th time across 6 stores in just 2 days. Someone called in a threat yesterday at the North College Hill Kroger near Cincinnati. The other 5 threatened stores are also in the Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. All of them had to be evacuated and searched. Now, FBI and local law enforcement are investigating. Police say they can and will find the person responsible. They say that person could face charges related to inciting panic and terrorist activity. Federal charges are on the table since the threat threats cross state lines.
Today, Governor Mike DeWine and Lieutenant Governor John Husted holding a news conference in Columbus. Now, they're discussing mental health priorities for the state, including the newly proposed Social Media Parental Notification Act right here behind me. It would require companies like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to get parental consent before children under 16 can use their platforms. If passed by the Ohio General Assembly and signed into law by Governor DeWine, companies would have 90 days to comply.
The Dayton Dragons hitting the road. They start a 6-game series in Fort Wayne tomorrow night, but Dayton Ballpark will be busy Wednesday for the Logan Wilson Celebrity Softball game. Now, the Cincinnati Bengals linebacker getting a big addition on Sunday. Former wide receiver Chad Ochocinco Johnson posting to social media that he'll be in Dayton on Wednesday. Here are some of the other notables: head coach Zach Taylor, defensive lineman Sam Hubbard, and other Bengals standouts. There will be a home run derby in the 6 o'clock hour before the actual game at 7:30. To learn more about the game and for tickets, you can visit DaytonDragons.com.
Our time right now is 6:07. Don't forget, you can get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Leaving a place better than you found it, an Ohio legend making a huge impact in the community. Just ahead, Cameron Justice highlights the new project for the LeBron James Family Foundation.
You're watching Your Day.
We are looking at a morning of cooler temperatures, and you can really see the dividing line. First time in a while that we've had this little bit more of a buckled flow, if you will. And what I mean by that is, for the last few weeks, it's been very east, west, and we really just have been ultimately very quiet. What we did was we finally buckled a little bit, and you're starting to see that colder air move into the greater Dayton area, and realistically, actually, much of the Miami Valley as well. Temperatures in Wapakoneta 55, 59 in Springboro. Now, that's not to say that it's a particularly cold morning, but what we are going to see is that colder air continue throughout the day, and effectively, we're going to be about 10, maybe even 15 degrees below average. It really just depends on how much sunshine we get from about 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Of course, that's around peak heating. You get more sunshine, more likely for us to warm up in towards the 70-degree mark, but still, that's well below average. All right, as for the roads this morning, does look like our traffic system decided to go down here. So let's go over to the maps. There we go. Right for now, nothing across the area, and we will get that traffic hopefully back up here in the not too distant future. And unfortunately, decided to crash here 10 seconds before we went on.
Our time right now is 6:11. A space to be creative. An area studio opening another location. In minutes, when and where to find the new spot for Shag Studios.
You're watching Your Day.
Behind us, LeBron James Family Foundation.org, where it reads, "We are family."
The Ohio legend still producing on the hardwood and making a difference off the court. The foundation is celebrating the grand opening of a new housing development in his hometown of Akron. Cameron Justice reports.
Young people who have a quality place to live are better students and become better citizens in our community.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the LeBron James Family Foundation has taken it a step further. From the I Promise School to House 330, which offers after-school outlets and resources for students and their families, community support has been top of mind.
We understand, man, that we want to put our arms around the community and help however we can, trying to fill in the gaps, to be the glue that bonds things together.
Now, helping impact life outside the classroom with the new I Promise housing.
We offer all wraparound supports for our families in our network.
So not only will they have safe, reliable, and secure housing, they'll also be one step away from all other resources that we offer.
The 50-unit building offers families in need a modern and new space to live. With fiber optic Wi-Fi, community and fitness rooms, as well as units that accommodate mobility and sensory needs, the housing unit aims to cater to all, stemming back to one goal.
To have somewhere where you can call home, that's safe, that you can get a good hot meal and have a good rest at the end of the night is really what they're trying to provide here, and I think they hit the mark.
For the families moving in, this new housing is invaluable.
To call this home, it means a good night's rest. It means being able to get up and simply flush the toilet without having to take the back off and use a chain or a pencil because something is broken and it's not fixed, or it's peace.
And with a medical care center coming to Akron soon, the LeBron James Family Foundation will continue developing the area and expanding its impact on the next generation.
LeBron always says, leave a place better than you did when you found it. Today we say, welcome home.
Time to do some weather here where we're waking up to a much more quiet day than yesterday ended. The storm system continues to move out of Ohio. It's still a couple of showers in the eastern half of the area, but it was really over our area and further to the southeast that we saw some of the strongest storms. There was actually a tornado warning that did clip the far southeastern part of Clayton County as well yesterday. That one actually had what we're calling a tornado debris ball signature. That's to say that on radar, there was at least some signs that there could have been a tornado on the ground. Again, we're waiting official National Weather Service road about any future surveys. Once we do get them, of course, we'll let you know. Today, cloudy skies, perhaps maybe a shower too early, but it'll be more sprinkles than anything. Clearing skies through the first part of overnight. Clouds will move in for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow itself, periods of on again, off again showers and periods of lighter rain as well. That should wrap up as we get into Wednesday morning. From there, Wednesday itself will start to clear out. We're pointing out that today and tomorrow running about 13 degrees below average. Wednesday still going to be a touchdown and the extra point away from average. And beyond that, it'll be in the 80s. So even at the warmest this week ahead, it'll be around average. Certainly a change from last week where we were so dry and at times so hot. That's for traffic this morning. We are looking at a quiet morning commute thus far. I haven't seen any tie-ups or concerns on our interstates. Everything seems to be moving fine despite the usual construction spots. Let's head over into Columbus.
Good morning to you on this Monday. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Things still a little bit damp out there from all of that rain that we received here in central Ohio. We're seeing right now those 70 eastbound lanes doing well, working all the way in towards 270, continuing in towards downtown Columbus. You can see right now we are working with a clear board. We did have reports of a little bit of flooding on 71. That is no longer an issue. Things now moving freely again through downtown Columbus without any problems. 670 looking good in both directions. So if you have a flight to catch, no issues there. Things really pretty decent across the board. Very light traffic as we are starting things off here on your Monday morning. I'm Katie McKee with your Triple Team Traffic.
Topping this morning's Dayton Business Journal headlines, local artists, creators, and beauty technicians will soon be able to rent studio spaces near the University of Dayton. Shag Studios will be opening their second Dayton area location on South Main Street later this summer. The new location will feature 15 luxury private suites available for rent on its top floor, along with personal care services like hair, skin, nails, and massage. The other floor will offer micro, retail, creator, and artist studios. To read more about this story and others like it, head to Dayton247now.com. Just click on the news tab and then select Dayton Business Journal.
Our time right now is 6:20. Digital producer Max getting ready for your work week. Your Facebook poll question coming up in minutes.
You're watching Your Day.
Time for Pet of the Day here on your day, where we celebrate your pets. And today's pet is Margot. Margot here, sent in by Steph. Don't have that much detail on Margot, but what a gorgeous dog overall. I mean, I just love the ears. My dog, of course, the part Aussie, or mostly Aussie, has those ears that fold over. And boy, there's just something about them that always brings a smile to my face. And perhaps maybe this weather bringing a smile to your dog's face, because frankly, it is going to be quieter than yesterday. Yesterday, we had the storms, and today, well, we're not going to deal with any type of storms. It's still going to be quite muddy outside. So if you are going to be, let's say, out and about, you definitely want to make sure that you have a rag for the dog or some way to wipe their paws, because the last thing you want is that inside. But a big thank you to Margot, or should I say Steph, for sending us Margot. As for traffic this morning, if you're taking a pet maybe to work, I know some of them offer that. Maybe you work from the office. Well, you don't have to worry about a morning commute, but morning commute right for now, pretty quiet all across the board, and it does look like no major incidents on the interstates or roadways. Meanwhile, major incident in my fridge last night, because I found something in the back, and it went immediately, just not even look at it, just.
It was alive! And that brings us to Max this morning. Max says an appetizing photo behind you.
Isn't it? So, gross question today. Sorry about that. Sorry if you're eating breakfast. How long past a food's expiration date do you still eat it? What are your...
So I think it, I had wrote on the post that it depends on what food it is. Like when it comes to dairy and meat, if it's expired, I'm done, because that smell is disgusting. But if it's like bread, I wait till the mold comes.
Yeah.
Or if it's like box food, it's box food, whatever. It's chock full of preservatives, right?
Mm-hmm. Alex, meanwhile, is...
Yeah, I commented as well. I said I'm tossing it out on expiration day, and I'll play that game.
Yeah.
There's maybe been a few circumstances in terms of like bread. Maybe we'll risk it and do a day or two after, but that's just about it.
I'm ashamed to admit this, but it fits my branding here. I may be finishing up a half gallon of milk that expired at the end of May.
Oh!
It's still fine. It smells fine. It tastes fine.
I do not play with milk.
Like, what is your scent off?
No, it was just in the coldest part of the fridge, and like I looked at it and I went, okay, if it's anywhere it smells bad,
maybe you're just getting used to the sour taste because you keep drinking it.
It sounds like a bachelor. That's a chief bachelor move right there.
It really is.
Max, what's your rule of thumb?
You know, I think I agree with what everyone else said. Bread, as long as I don't see mold. Baby carrots last indefinitely. And, canned stuff, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Milk?
I do the smell test. If it smells fine, I usually drink it.
So you pass the smell test.
I'm already starting to feel like I'm
This
going
is why men don't survive as long as women.
On that note, our time right now is 6:26. Max, we appreciate it. Go chime in right now on Facebook. We'll read more of your responses coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. Still to come.
After the break, we're in Champaign County. A closer look at the damage in Christiansburg.
Coming together for a great cause, the Battle of Businesses wrapping up for 2023 in minutes. How much they raised for Special Olympics.
But first, here's Nick Calderon with America's Steals and Deals.
The following segment is sponsored by Knocking.
I don't like to clean. There, I said it. Do you feel like you're cleaning constantly and somehow there's still dust everywhere? Mm-hmm. I live in the desert and everything is dusty all the time. It's just part of life. Well, that dust could be hiding and raining down from one of those hard to reach areas like your ceiling fan. You know it's dusty up there, but it's always such a hassle to clean. Problem solved. This is the Blade Maid. It's specially designed to remove dust from those tricky areas like your ceiling fan. The cleaning head is uniquely crafted to capture dirt and dust from all sides of your blades all at once. It makes it kind of fun. Trapping debris in its microfiber, machine washable pads so it's not getting all over the rest of your house, making you have to clean again. And watch this, the telescoping handle makes ladders virtually unnecessary. Plus, if you don't have a ceiling fan, you can still use the Blade Maid because the head transforms to a pad that you can clean vents and baseboards and other hard to reach nooks and crannies. Last week, I was up on a ladder in my living room hoping not to break my neck, trying to knock down spider webs and dust. It was a pain. I wish I had one of these at the time. Right now, we're offering 30% off the Blade Made. Head to asadeals.com for this exclusive offer.
Auto Matters is sponsored by Chevrolet of Troy.
Here in the shop, cars can sit around for a month or more between uses. So let's talk about what really works when you store a vehicle. Fuel tank, full or empty? Always full. That gives less room for corrosion to form, and also use a fuel stabilizer to keep it fresh. Tires, should you pump them up or leave them alone? This is from the days of bias plies that would get flat spots. Modern tires don't do that, so there's no need to add extra air. Finally, plugging the tailpipe. It keeps critters out, right? But leave a note on your dashboard to take that out before starting the car. We could go on for hours, but when you need storage advice, check in with one of our trusted car pros here in town.
Hi, I'm Jacob, owner of Chevrolet of Troy, and I'd like to invite you to our dealership where you get more. That's more selection, more savings, and more value. Visit us online at ChevroletTroy.com or in person in Troy.
This morning, the National Weather Service will be out assessing damage after storms and possibly a tornado hit the Miami Valley.
Their offices in Wilmington tweeting out this photo of a funnel cloud near the Dayton International Airport. This happened in Tip City and Vandalia near the county line. This system also impacting Champaign County. They experienced some damage, and now crews will be out trying to clean up from yesterday's storms. That's where we find Mamie Ball. She's live in Christiansburg this morning.
And Mamie, what are you seeing out there at this hour?
So take a look here. This is South Elm Tree Road in Champaign County. Just take a look at all of the trees that are down here. As you know, when it comes to storms like this and you have trees that are this large next to people's homes, it's always a close call. But in this case here, again, still very much so a close call, but you have a lot of these down trees all over the front lawn here and all over this road here. Again, this is South Elm Tree Road in Christiansburg here in Champaign County, but that's what you see here, a lot of down trees. And again, that's something we've been mentioning throughout the morning. We've been in different parts of Christiansburg and you have seen a lot of down trees. In some cases, it's a close call. You have it, missing people's home, missing people's cars by a hair. And, this is one of those situations for this case where you just have it all over this person's front lawn here. So a lot of cleanup will be taking place much later on today. But again, you do have crews out here. I think we just saw a Spectrum truck coming in to help people, because, whenever you have situations like this, you do have power outages and you also have people who, lose internet and things like that. So you do have crews out. We haven't seen anyone from the National Weather Service just yet, but just definitely know that if I do see anyone from the National Weather Service, I will be running over there so I can get you guys an update as soon as possible. But again, here in Christiansburg, you have a lot of down trees. We don't have any situations with power lines, so I haven't seen any members of AES Ohio here. It seems like from what I've been seeing from the outside on the road, looking inside of people's homes from the roads, people do have lights right now. So again, down power lines, not a problem here. But if you're going to be coming to this area, the main issue here is going to be all these down tree branches that you see. And in certain places you have roads that are closed off, in other places you don't. But again, this is what you're going to be seeing in Christiansburg. This is what is going on, the main event after the storm, a lot of these down trees. So again, cleanup will be underway much later on, and I have an eye out for any member of the National Weather Service who is going to be out here to assess the damage, and I will ask them any questions in regard to what they saw and what they're assessing and what we can expect from their report. Back to you.
In addition to the National Weather Service, of course, the emergency managers also play a pretty big role in any type of storm surveys. So, Mimi, thank you very much for your insights into the storms. Of course, we can't verify anything unless we get told about it or we see it ourselves. And obviously, we are limited to what other photographers we have on staff and everything else. So we can still visit a lot of the area, but there's sometimes where we need you guys to chime it in. If you see damage, please let us know. Now, going back to yesterday, a couple of areas that we were watching, the Vandalia area over in towards the Monroe Township, Tip City. That is a storm that did wrap up. And again, Christiansburg, one of those areas where we did have storms that seem to be capable of producing a tornado. So if you do have any type of video damage, go ahead and put that on Your Day Dayton, whether that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Of course, we also have our chime in on our website. Also on the Your Day Dayton page, you can check out the Your Day Extra podcast last Friday featuring yours truly. And we've got your weather plus now your poll questions up there as well. On the roads this morning, it is a fairly quiet morning commute thus far. I haven't seen any tie-ups or concerns at this hour.
Right now, one person is in the hospital and another person in custody after a shooting in Middletown. Police arrived at Howard Avenue near South Sutphin Street here on the map around 2:30 yesterday afternoon. They found a woman shot in the head. Officials rushed her to Atrium Medical Center. Now, while investigating, officers received a tip. The suspect, Richard Atkins, was still in the area. Now, Atkins is now under arrest. He's charged with felonious assault. If you have information about the shooting, call Detective Kirby at this number, 513-425-7796.
The Battle of the Businesses is raising thousands of dollars for the Special Olympics of Greater Dayton. Over the past week, over 25 teams competed in 12 co-ed sporting events. That includes events from miniature golf to track sprinting. Saturday wrapped up the week-long fundraiser, earning over $51,000.
Our time right now is 6:37. Don't forget to get your headlines scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
And your weather on the side of the screen all morning long, even during commercials.
Caught on camera at Philadelphia Bridge, catching fire and collapsing. Just ahead, what one driver witnessed on I-95.
You're watching Your Day.
the Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Lovely leaps of water. This serene scene captured at Fall Creek Falls, which is located within a Tennessee state park of the same name. Along with the waterfalls are smaller cascades, gorges, forests, and more. And this small school of hammerhead sharks gave these boaters an awesome view near Alabama's Robinson Island on Saturday.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
We are waking up to a quiet morning here on the Watson's weather patio. The wind itself is coming basically straight from my back and coming in directly over the shoulder. And if this was wintertime, I would tell you I'd probably be bundled up out here because it is a brisk wind and it definitely has that cooling feeling on the back of the nape of my neck. But either way, this morning, very damp feeling as well. So, you know, we're talking about a morning that by and large is pretty quiet, but it's damp. We have this wind. It's cloudy outside. In fact, just looking at it, it's a thin overcast, meaning the depth isn't particularly it's just not dense. But I do think it's one of those that it's probably going to stay for at least the first part of the morning hours and then gradually erode. So effectively, we're talking about maybe not necessarily a winter pattern, but certainly a more fall or springtime pattern here. This is typical for June, July. You're going to get a day or two where it's 10, 15, maybe even 20 degrees below average. But certainly when it does happen, it feels a lot cooler. So today, it's pretty chilly out here right now on the Watson's weather patio.
Behind us, video from the I-95 bridge in Philadelphia. A section of the bridge collapsed from a fire Sunday morning.
It will be a difficult morning commute, and officials say it'll be a while before things are back to normal. John Lawrence reports.
People driving in southeast Pennsylvania will need to have a lot of patience and maybe an extra audio book.
At the moment, like, okay, this is just, you know, a normal bump, a normal little brush fire.
It was anything but a brush fire. On Sunday morning, a tanker truck carrying a petroleum-based product caught fire under the highway on Interstate 95 in Philadelphia, causing part of the bridge to collapse, officials say. Mark Fusetti captured this smoke-filled footage as he drove over the other side of the bridge.
I thought, okay, maybe this is just the construction part. I didn't think for a second that the road under me was collapsing, and that part of the highway will have to be replaced too.
Officials have started putting detours into place.
We're also looking at interim solutions to connect both sides of I-95 to get traffic through the area.
Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney says the fire is under control and, in a tweet, advised commuters to, quote, plan for alternate routes or modes of travel. Pennsylvania officials say traffic in the area is expected to be affected for months.
The rebuilding of I-95 is going to be a massive project. And until that happens, you are literally going to have millions of people in what is one of the largest population centers in the country impacted in a significant way.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Our time right now is 6:44. Not your dad or husband's hairy bag. Just ahead, the bear that went surfs up at a Florida beach.
You're watching And we're dealing with some technical issues, but for right now, we're going to get started. Former President Trump right now.
He's trying to make. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
He's making some headwinds and statements after he was indicted on Friday. That big news coming out of Washington, D.C. We've got more on his pending indictment.
Witch hunt, scam, hoax. It's called election interference, and they're doing the best they can. With it.
Over the weekend, former President Donald Trump on the campaign trail making stops in Georgia and North Carolina following his recent federal indictment. While in Greensboro, the former president calling out the Biden administration for what he claimed is an abuse of power.
Be fun, but should focus on providing your fish with plenty of places to hide and explore. Hopefully these are some helpful starter tips, but reach out to your fish supply store or consult a reliable fish care book for further questions.
Good morning, I'm Matt Digby with a look at sports. Cincinnati Reds prospect Elly De La Cruz made his Major League debut last Tuesday against the Dodgers. Cincinnati only won that series. They had a chance to win this weekend series on the road at St. Louis. Reds started on the front foot Saturday, looking for more of the same on Sunday. Top first, Jonathan India sends a deep fly ball to dead center. Tommy Edmonds in pursuit. He looks like he'll have a chance to leap over the wall and catch the ball, but the ball clears the wall for a solo home run. Reds on the board first, 1-0. St. Louis trying to answer. Jordan Walker with a fly ball to left. That drops for a base hit. Cardinals tie the game in the second. They later take the lead 2-1, but this game will be back and forth. Top third, De La Cruz, what a start he's had to his Major League career. This fly ball to center, landing, and Kirk Casale will score from second. That ties the game at 2. But then at the bottom of the frame, Nolan Arenado with a deep fly ball down the right field line. Not a home run, but it lands on the warning track and results in a triple. Paul Goldschmidt scoring all the way from first, and the home team is back in front 3-2. However, De La Cruz scores a tying run in the 6th, and then in the 8th inning, Tyler Stevenson with a grounder to short. They go for the play at home, but De La Cruz beats the throw back to the plate. That's the go-ahead run. Reds take the game and the series 4-3 the final on Sunday.
Great series. It's always tough coming in here, and it's a good team we're playing against, so to be able to get 2 out of 3 really hard-fought games. All 3 could have gone different for sure, so we feel we had to play really well to get 2 wins here. That run was all speed. There's no question about it, and it's just a different level of speed to be able to beat that play, that going on contact there on a solid hit ball, really good shortstop with a good arm, and just outran the throw.
And the Dayton Dragons and Cedar Rapids Colonels had a lengthy weather delay to start Sunday, almost 3 hours before the first pitch. Cedar Rapids out to a big lead early, and they would go on to win 16-7. The game would be called in the 9th inning after the weather returned to Day Air Ballpark. Justice Thompson and Luis Chevalier each with home runs, but the Colonels do split the series. Dayton has today off before they go on the road to Fort Wayne this coming week. That'll do it for sports. I'm Matt Digby.
Take a live look at this video out of Trotwood. You can see a tree falling onto the front porch of a woman's home, just missing her car. This is Northampton Road. Now, luckily, no damage was done inside of that home.
Now to Harrison Township on Philadelphia Drive. Officials blocked off the road after a tree branch came down on the power line. Luckily, no injuries are reported.
The National Weather Service retweeting this post last night of a possible tornado. You could see it here just outside the Dayton International Airport. Claire Faith talked to one business owner working near the airport when it happened.
We're here on West National Road in Vandalia, nearby the Dayton International Airport. And you can see in this is video that has been trending across social media. Now, I spoke with one business owner who said he witnessed this storm for himself. He said it was just behind nearby the Dayton International Airport, and him and his wife told me that the sky became darker and darker and the rain began to pour in. He shares the moment it all happened.
Watching out the window, and it started getting darker and darker, and then the rain started, and it just kept getting more and more intense, and finally it just downpoured, and I couldn't see the airport from.
He said he's happy that him, his wife, and his business is fine. He said the storm moved pretty quickly, and he's happy that everyone is just okay. Reporting in Vandalia, Clara Faith, Dayton 24/7 Now News.
All right, so we're going to go to the radar from last night. This is a time lapse from about 6:45 till 7:30. And the reason why we're starting to see that cut off is because, unfortunately, we're getting to the point where we are going to lose radar data here. This particular model only goes back about 12 hours. And again, we're starting to get to the point where we're going to lose the time period of concern, which is right about 7 p.m., give or take a little bit. What we're looking at is right there. You can see it just about where the old Springfield Road is. You'll notice that little bit of a hook right there. And what that is that's probably where we started to see that rotation. When we do see a hook echo, that's a very good sign on radar that we've traced all the way back till basically the first radars of a possible tornado on the ground. Now, what you want to also look for is at the same spot, you want to look at rotation. And we did have that as well. So over towards the Union City, Englewood area, that's where we did have the first signs of perhaps a little bit of rotation. But once we started to see it move over Tip City, that's really where the rotation got stronger and stronger. And what does that mean? That meant there was a better chance of actual tornado touchdown. Now, again, we don't have any confirmation from the National Weather Service, but I've just actually sent them a message about when we should know about any potential surveys